Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to talk about two things: the art of paper quilling and the art of calligraphy. Paper quilling is the art of using small coiled shapes of narrow paper strips to create designs. This is an example of paper quilling here. You can see how the paper is curled and twisted around into the letter Q for quilling. And during the Renaissance, it was found that nuns and monks would often roll the golden strips of paper remnants trimmed from bookmaking into different shapes and just make designs with them: flowers, butterflies, whatever, and would make that as part of almost as a craft art after making books. And calligraphy is our second idea that we're working with. Calligraphy is the art of lettering, and here are two different calligraphy examples, this one being in Arabic and this one over here being Chinese calligraphy. And each culture or written language has its own different kind of lettering that they use. So calligraphy can take many different shapes and forms for expressive purposes or just for utilitarian purposes, such as this example here, which is very decorative and obviously follows a clear design, whereas this example here is somebody working in a workbook learning how to very meticulously reproduce the Chinese calligraphy. Okay, a couple different artistic examples we're going to talk about is, number one, the Book of Kells. It's an English example, or actually it's Latin example of written words. So you can see here from this page of it how the calligraphy is very clear and concise. And also in the Book of Kells, we typically have larger letters or other little small pictures or designs that would go along with the Book of Kells and along with the written calligraphy. The Book of Kells was made in around 800 AD by Celtic monks and has about 680 pages to it and has many detailed calligraphy and drawing examples. This one are some other pages from the Book of Kells, and you can see here this letter P that goes right here along with the other letters. This little smaller picture that I took from the Book of Kells and put in there to kind of show how it's like an animal. It's kind of like some, I don't know, fox-like thing with this like bird or something twisted up this way with different Celtic twisty knots around it. So most of starting lines, like at the beginning of a paragraph, would have large letters that indicated the first letter of the first word, and that would kind of show where the beginning of a paragraph was. Here's some Arabic calligraphy. You can see the difference between the two. These are both from the Quran. And this one being very blocky and tall stems on it with long lines has one feel to it, whereas this one, being a very delicate decorative pattern from the Ottoman Empire, has a different feel to it completely. Even though they're the same letters, they're both parts of the Quran, the holy script in Islam. They are having a totally different feel to them. And in Islamic architecture, there is no use of pictures. As we saw in the Book of Kells, there were many pictures of animals or people, whereas in Islam, there's no pictures of faces allowed. So quite frequently calligraphy and therefore texts from the Quran are used in the decoration. So here's the Dome of the Rock, very important monument in Jerusalem, and on the side of it, way up there, you can't see it, so I've got a closer up version here. You can see the calligraphy on the side of the building with this blue background and the white lettering. And right on the Taj Mahal, this building here in India, you can see that the side columns that go up this way are very intricately lettered all the way up over the arch and around to the side. So really interesting ways to use calligraphy as a form of art and also in a form of architecture. Japanese calligraphy is also very interesting because there's a philosophy that goes behind it, whereas it's almost like an art form in the sense of the balance between each written character and the composition as a whole. And depending on either how small or how large you do it, or how what kind of a brush you use, it can almost take on a presence of an artistic painting, as well as just pure letters. And sometimes they're more decorative, sometimes they're more precise. And here's two examples. Just an example of an older script that's much loopier, and this one being much more precise. And these are the English words for the characters there. For our assignment that we'll be working on now as you work through the playlist, we're going to be making a quilled letter. First, you're going to take this worksheet and practice the quilling exercises that I have in the next videos. And you're going to make each of these quilled exercises, glue them onto this paper, and then check in with me after you're finished with that. The real assignment then is to find a letter that suits you, whether it's a Greek letter like this letter L here, or maybe it's an Arabic letter or a letter from some other alphabet that you would like to study or you would like to make or that you find important to you. And you're going to take that letter and you're going to quill. You're going to first draw the design following the examples in the video, and then you're going to quill that design and fill the insides of it with different quilled shapes, as well as make a quilled border like that. So thank you for joining me, learning about paper quilling, calligraphy, and how to make a quilled letter for our art assignment.